because I'm cooler than the fan, so I'm letting that fan blow. So, with that being said, I thought I would have an interesting discussion with you guys. Everybody is welcome to chime in. Everybody. Just don't say nothing stupid. But apparently, it appears that the NBA seems to have somewhat of a problem on what they want to do as far as the future of the NBA goes. Who do they want to carry the league? Who do they want to be the face of the NBA? Who do they want to be that guy? I know David Stern said no one guy would be the face of the NBA after Michael Jordan, but clearly, when Michael Jordan retired, it was up for grabs when he retired the second time and then came back in the early 2000s. It was up for grabs, which I think it was good because at the time you had the argument in which you could say you could make an argument for Allen Iverson, you can make an argument for Shaquille O'Neal, you can make an argument for Kobe Bryant, you can make um, you can make an argument for Tracy McGrady. All those dudes was on fire at that time. Vince Carter. So it was up for grabs who was that guy. And I think now the problem is, and until LeBron came, LeBron sort of like was the face, but then in between, what you would call the golden years, the peak of LeBron James' career, then you start to see the emergence of uh, Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant and guys like that, and then for a couple of years, Giannis. So now the problem is now going into this next wave. Giannis is a veteran now. He's been there for a while, and he's still one of the best players in the league. But is he the type of dude to be the face of the league? It's the difference between being one of the best and then being the face. We know that LeBron was clearly the face of the NBA for many years, and it was all about what LeBron did. Even though LeBron is on his way out, and you starting to see the LeBron James uh, light fizzle, it's dimming because LeBron James will be 40 years old. I think even LeBron James don't want to let go. I think he has the same problem guys like Tom Brady and Floyd Mayweather have. They don't understand that their time has came and passed. LeBron is going into his 21st, 22nd season. I mean, the dude has been playing for a while now. This will be his 22nd season, I think, something like that. So now the NBA seems to have somewhat of a problem, and they don't know what direction to go. And what I mean by isms, um, you can make a you can talk about possibly colorism, somewhat racism, but it's some ism involved because you've been hearing that Adam Silver kind of wants it to be somebody like Anthony Edwards, but then again, he's worried about Anthony Edwards, which for the most part, you haven't really heard nothing from Anthony Edwards. Now, like I said, the question at hand could be uh, the lady he has a child with because she seemed to be, always seeking attention and wanting to capitalize off of being with Anthony Edwards, but she hasn't done nothing so far out there to where people are saying he need to get rid of her, but she likes attention, and that's for sure. And then you think of Jalen Brown, the guy that's too smart for his own good, according to Stephen A. Smith. Then you think of possibly somebody like Jason Tatum. Then, of course, Luka Doncic. I think to a certain degree, people was kind of wanting Dallas to win, but then they seen some things in Luca. Like, is he a guy that you would like? Here's the thing: can Luca sell out arenas whenever he goes? When he goes into other arenas, away games. See, that's the thing. LeBron James when he played in other arenas, a lot of people would pack the arenas just to see him. I think Anthony Edwards is heading towards that direction, but he still has a ways to go. And that's what I mean by they don't have that guy yet. And then, you look at Jaylen Brown, you look at Jason Tatum, and then some people say, well, one of the things that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is competing for is whose team it is. And then some people are saying, well, uh, they have the light skin, dark skin thing going on there. So it's complex. And that's the thing with the NBA. They don't have that guy yet, and they're desperately trying to find him. No, I know. Uh, Here's the thing about Shea Alexander. The same thing with he's a great player, but the thing is with him, he's not American. He's from Canada. So they want the guy to be kind of American born as well. So that's why they don't want to like put the the brunt of the NBA resting in his hands. They think it could be Anthony Edwards, but then they have reservations about it. I do think that the NBA, to a certain degree, wanted to be represented by lighter complexion guys. Not necessarily white, but lighter complexion. And that's why you have the whole dynamic with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. All this stuff comes into play. I just think they just don't like. I just think they don't want the NBA to be built around a player, and in particularly a black player from Canada. Now, if you from the States, that's fine. Because, like I say, the NBA, they look at all that stuff. They have stat people that keep stats of everything, stats that they don't even want us to know exist. And I just think that that's the problem. They don't know who they want to market the league around. Some people think that Anthony Edwards may be a little too street to be the guy. He's not quite Allen Iverson, but he's a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He ain't where LeBron is. But Anthony Edwards, when he does interview, he gives great interviews, but I think he's not groomed enough to say certain things. Because one thing about Anthony Edwards, he talk it how he walk it. I mean, I mean, that dude is that dude is Atlanta as it come. That dude is straight up ATL. That dude wear the ATL on his sleeve wherever he go. You could just see it. And I think that's a problem. They trying to figure out how corporate and marketable Anthony Edwards is. Now, the funny thing is, Anthony Edwards, as far as as far as signature shoe go, Anthony Edwards AE1s, were number one. His AE. Now, to be fair, when they say number one, you have to also go by how many pairs they made available for sale. But his shoes sold out every time they got put out for the most part. So that's the problem that I see with the NBA. And then as far as this finals go, it just wasn't a competitive finals. Now the ratings didn't drop like by 50%. It was only by like 2%. But I guess if it's lower than last year, the NBA starts to raise concern. So they are trying to figure out who is going to carry the league and be that number one guy. Basically, that guy because here's the thing, it isn't about home games per se. It isn't about home games for a particular team. They want to have that guy where whenever he goes to other arenas, people flock to come see him. And I mean the teams that are not doing very well, as far as attendance go. See, the thing about Allen Iverson, whenever he played in Oakland, when Allen Iverson was scheduled to play the Golden State Warriors, that arena sold out. People would sell out arenas to come see Allen Iverson play. And right now, do you have that guy? Do you be like, okay, I love my hometown team? And I'm not talking about if you a Lakers fan, if you a Bulls fan. I'm talking about if you like a Charlotte Hornets fan or a Indiana Pacers fan. Are you going to help sell out that arena when somebody, one of the so-called best players, come to town? Anthony Edwards has the potential, but then it's something that the commissioner don't like about him. He may be a little too urban to mass market the league around. You may be able to market Anthony Edwards to what you call the urban community, this quote unquote streets, but you have to wonder, can you market him on a global scale? Can you send Anthony Edwards to China to promote the league? Can you send him to Russia? Can you send him to places like that? Can you send him to Mexico? And probably the answer is no as of right now. And I'm not ragging on Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards right now is one of my favorite players. But that's the problem. And then the same thing with Luka. The problem is with Luka, he doesn't give you much. He sometimes he plays a little fired up, but then when he does interviews, he kind of don't really give you nothing in interviews. So once again, they worried about Luka. And then on the flip side of Luka, based off what's going on with Caitlin Clark, that may actually in the long run hurt Luka. And I'm gonna explain that in another video. Y'all gonna dig that. Yeah, that is the problem, I think, and that's what I'm saying about Anthony Edwards. I think he doesn't have what you call global appeal. And that's not a knock on him. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing. He isn't available all the time. Then people still remember his father, and his father gave people a bad taste in their mouth because of his antics. He was just a little too vocal. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Well, Stephen Curry is older now. Stephen Curry is older now. I think the championship years, you can make that argument, but the problem is a couple of years he had to compete with Kevin Durant, and that was the problem. And then I'm seeing I'm seeing something in Luka Doncic that kind of worries me, and I think a lot of people starting to see Luka be looking a little pudgy in his uniform. I mean, Luka could play, but it looks like when basketball season is over, Luka doesn't take care of himself, and I think a lot of people notice that about him. I think Luka's conditioning, he plays into shape. Like I said, he gives it his all on the court, but I think as Luka get older, I think Luka may have a problem with his weight. And you already see that in him. Well, we'll have to see about that. We'll have to see. But man, as far as James Harden go, James Harden, that's neither here or there. That's not even up for discussion. James Harden have, James Harden have other issues. James Harden too busy, like, you know, going to the strip club, blowing $100,000 on strippers and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's his money. It's his money. He can do whatever he want to do with it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be going to no damn strip club, blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars on strippers. But when you have disposable income like that, when you have so much money, you don't know what to do with it. When you have access to pretty much anything you want, for the most part, you just start looking at yourself. You just be like, I got all this money, and like, damn, there's nothing I can't get right now. So I guess maybe that's just one of his, hobbies of, how he entertained himself. Yeah, Luca. I was looking at Luca in the finals. I was like, Luca may have issues keeping his weight down. Well, I give him credit for that. We have to give James Harden credit for that. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be blowing. They have reports saying that James Harden be dropping 200,000-300,000 at the strip club. I'm not giving. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not dropping 100, 2, 3, nothing at no damn strip club. For what? So, but I think that's the problem with the NBA. That's what they're going through right now. They're scrambling. They like who could be the guy? Who could be the guy? Who could be that dude that we can globally market the NBA to? And I'm gonna tell you something. I just think they don't want to. I think to a certain degree, and I hate to say this, and I'm sure my guy Torian can understand this because he's good at this kind of stuff. I just don't think they want another dark skinned guy being the face of the NBA, because I think it worked with Michael Jordan, because I think Michael Jordan, when he came into the league, he was what they needed at the time, because I think Michael Jordan took the fear, is to a certain degree, out of dark skinned black men, as far as, because they made him the face of the league. Now, Magic Johnson is brown skinned, but Michael Jordan is dark. I've seen Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is pretty dark. Now, he's not what you call Wesley Snipes dark or Bertie Mac dark, but he's darker than Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is what you call like brown complexion. Me, I'm in between caramel. They consider me light skinned, so whatever. So, I'm like Charles Barkley's complexion or Will Smith. They consider us light skinned, so whatever. But nevertheless, it's the shade. So that's what I mean by isms. And then same thing with Jason Tatum. That seemed to be another issue with him and Jaylen Brown. And then Jaylen Brown, well, Jaylen Brown is a Rhodes Scholar. so they're trying to figure out, okay, who could be our guy. And I understand about Shea Alexander, but the problem is, once again, he's not American. He's not American, and NBA is an American invented game. He could be one of the dudes that you talk about. That's why he finished second in MVP voting, but they just don't want guys like him that's from Canada. They don't want him to be the NBA. They are ideal guy. They want him to be American born. They want him to be universally marketable, and they want him to be a model citizen, which in this day and age it's next to impossible to be a model citizen, because one, you just living in the age where camera phones, where I mean it's just easy. I think the model citizen thing, they're gonna have to throw that out the door, because that just don't exist no more. It's just, you live in a world where everything is recorded. you know so I think that's the problem. They don't know who to give the league to. They don't know who to market it to. So they're scrambling. They be worried about all that stuff. Well, that's part of the plan. But okay, here's the thing. I'll say this once again. Does Jokic got global appeal? Hell no. Great basketball player, fundamentally sound, but he's what you call quote unquote boring. And then I think now, based off the Caitlin Clark dynamic, now I think they then kind of got off that. Well, we'll mark the league around an Eastern European white guy. Now they want to find American. Listen, the NBA been looking for their next Larry Bird for years. I think they missed out on the opportunity with Dirk, because Dirk was a very good basketball player. Dirk was an exceptional basketball player, but the problem with Dirk wasn't American. If Dirk was American born, with the numbers he put up, they would be saying Dirk is GOAT status, but he's not American born. And I think they was getting ready to go towards that direction. But then now this Caitlin Clark explosion in this overhype of Caitlin Clark, now they figure out, okay, so we need a American born white guy. They failed so many times, and they just could never find an American born replacement for Larry Bird. Like I said, if Dirk was born in the States, I think he would get more credit than what he's getting. Because most people don't even, if you look at the numbers that Dirk put up, you would say Dirk should at least be top 10 status. Scored over 30,000 points, league MVP, finals MVP. I mean, he has the numbers. He was the first ballot Hall of Famer. But that's the problem. Yeah, and Dirk, and that's another thing. Dirk just wanted to play basketball. Like Dirk, when you see Dirk, he kind of like he like slips through the cracks. He makes his appearance and then he disappears. And then I think it's something else with Dirk that I think another problem is with Dirk that I think that they had a problem with, that they didn't want it to be put out in the public. I noticed whenever Dirk would be with his wife, they kind of would not like to show pictures of Dirk and his wife. And you wouldn't even think Dirk was married the way with Dirk would be out in public. Because for those who don't know, Dirk Nowitzki has a black wife. And I think that's another problem that I think they didn't like about Dirk. So I think Dirk just so they tried so many times. Oh, don't forget Adam Morrison. They thought Adam Morrison was gonna be the guy too, and Adam Morrison was one of the biggest flops. I'm talking about that dude was a historic flop. Well, some people, very few people, somebody I know think that Jason Tatum should have got finals MVP, and I have to call complete crap on that. That is complete cap. Except for game 4, Jaylen Brown was solid. Jason Tatum, the first 2 games was terrible. He didn't have the first 2 games, he was terrible. Game 3, he came alive. Game 5, because of the blowout, pedestrian. Had a great game game 5 closeout game. But Jaylen Brown, make no mistake, he was the finals MVP. It wasn't even up for discussion. Oh yeah, Jimmer Fed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What was the other guy's name? Robert Swift. They've been looking for the Great White Hope for so long, and the American-born Great White Hope. But the problem is he's turned out to be a nope instead of hope, and that is the problem. They are desperate to find him, and they can't seem to find him. So, but yeah, there seems to be some issues down in the NBA, and they seem to be in shambles about it. That's the problem. I think the problem is the dudes that did fare very well, they have somewhat of an asterisk. Okay, they keep saying that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback that ever played the game, but how can you say that when Tom Brady has been linked to cheating on multiple occasions? He got caught cheating, not once, but twice. And then he admitted that he screwed around with those, and those footballs. They first Super Bowl, they cheated to win that first Super Bowl, and they just expect people to just forget about that. And they've been caught cheating several times. They were caught filming other teams' practices and stuff using. I mean, come on, man, using drones and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man. Allegedly, they was sneaking filming the Cleveland Browns practicing. So I'm just saying, Tom Brady's been linked to cheating on more than one occasion. I'm like, good grief, man. Oh, Adam, yeah, I think a lot of us forgot about Adam Morrison. Talk about, and it was funny when that dude was in college. He was balling at Gonzaga. He was balling. He was balling. But for some reason, it just all fell apart when he got drafted. I don't know. Maybe it was that porn star dirty cop mustache that he had. So I don't know. Maybe that was the problem. Oh, see, I didn't even know that about. I didn't even know that about Tom Brady. Hey, listen, dude, don't come on here telling me what to say on my channel, dude. We having we having a adult conversation. Put your feelings to the side. Watch your fucking mouth on my platform, dude. Don't tell me what to say about Tom Brady. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can get the fuck off my channel. Watch your mouth. Shut up, listen, or you can get ghost, or I will ghost you. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say about Tom Brady. Now what? He got caught cheating red-handed, and that's the bottom line. No, you trying to disrespect me on my platform. Don't tell me what the fuck to say on my platform. That's real talk. I said what I said about Tom Brady, and there ain't nothing you could do about it. He a cheater. He got caught cheating. He will be forever tied to cheating. Well, we can fix that right now. That was easy. I could say this about Dan Marino, watching Dan Marino play. It was very hard to sack Dan Marino. I mean, Dan Marino, nobody could get the ball out of their hands quicker than Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a hell of a quarterback, and that draft that Dan Marino came out of, I'm trying to think, man. It was some hitters. Man, I'm trying to think who was all in that draft. I think John Elway, Dan Marino. I think Jim Kelly was in that draft. I'm not sure if Steve Young was in that. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure if Steve Young in that draft, but I know for sure Dan Marino was in that draft. Damn man, they had some quarterbacks that came. I'm yeah, Testaverde, man. Yeah, Testaverde was a solid quarterback, that a solid journeyman quarterback. Well, Warren Moon, people have to understand about Warren Moon. Warren Moon got deprived of a lot of years in the NFL, but he still went on to throw for like 47,000 yards. Warren Moon didn't get to the NFL till he was like um 20, 27, 28. So you have to think if he would have got to play when he was 20, 21, you talking about seven, 21, 22, you talking about possibly, 6 season, 4,000 yard. He probably would have retired with at least at the time, probably by the time he would have retired, he might have been number one in all time passing because he threw for like 47,000 yards. Well, it's finna be even worse now because now you can't even tackle him a certain kind of way now. Yeah, Daryl Green, he was a cornerback though, but still, Daryl Green, he was that dude. He played for 20 seasons for one team, the Washington Redskins. Yeah, that 83 draft was stacked. It was stacked. It was stacked. But yeah, but anyway, getting back to the NBA, I really think that the NBA this summer they gonna have some meetings and they gonna try to figure out, okay, well, who is the guy we gonna market the league around? So they got some searching to do. Nah, Daryl Green was solid. But anyway, you got to get out of here. Appreciate y'all being here. It's your boy Town. I'm out.